we have some new updates from Astera about their QuikBeam fixture.
You're watching CineD, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hey everybody, welcome back to NAB 2026. My name is Graham Ayler-Sheldon. We're here on the show floor and I'm joined by Sebastian and we're in the Astera booth. How's it going, Sebastian?
It's great. Love this show.
Yes, so this is the QuikBeam in front of me. Now I know my colleague Nino touched on the QuikBeam with your colleague at the BSC Expo, but there's been some recent announcements and I guess the place to start might be with this backpack on your right here, Sebastian. What is this?
Exactly. So here NAB is a broadcast show and we're trying to show the broadcast solutions from this product. The backpack, for example, makes it very easy to carry two of these QuikBeam lights on locations. For example, if you have a electronic news gathering or you're at the sports event and there's a little interview, then you can bring two QuikBeams with all their accessories. For example, you can set this up on a tripod and make a quick light up from people. This is a very useful little kit just to be more mobile.
Perfect. And is the idea that you purchase the whole kit with two QuikBeams included? Is that the idea? And then all of the accessories, or is it more a la carte than that, so to speak?
Of course, you can buy one light if that's what you want, and it works perfectly on its own, but it's always good to have some accessories with you. For example, an additional barn door here. You have these chargers. We talk a bit about this later. Some longer cables to wire it up for a longer setup. You know, so usually people would buy it as a kit. Most of the Astera lights are sold as kits. There's bigger ones, but this one is the most mobile one of all our kits.
Very cool. Now, I know, we've touched on the QuikBeam before at BSC, and one of the cooler parts about this new fixture is the interchangeable battery pack. Obviously great for in the field, news gathering, as you mentioned. But the QuikBeams are also good for grids, so to speak, in studios. Can you tell me a little bit about how data is handled in that situation, how power is handled?
So the QuikBeam, as you just mentioned, has a swappable battery, means you can take out the battery and put in a new fully charged one, and that's a nice feature. But an additional feature is that you can leave out the battery altogether. So you just take this cap to seal the light again, and
making it IP65 rated again if you put the cap on.
Exactly, yes. And now you have a light without a battery, and which you can set up. Up here we have it in this little studio setup. So in a small studio you might want some Fresnel lights with a good optic, with a zoom and all. That's now what this light will give you. And if you look at it carefully, there's only a single input here. This is an Ethercon port, and what we can do is with one of our switches here, for example this one, you can feed power and data into the switch, and then you have power over Ethernet running with a single cable to this light. So that way, like, you save on cables and make the whole setup more simple.
Very cool. And how many QuikBeams can you power with one of these, and then you create a daisy chain, right?
With this one you would only power one. But we sell another version with 4 outputs, and you can basically use any Ethernet switch. They are existing in all sorts of shapes. For example, 19-inch rack mount or with 8 outputs. There's all sorts of them. You don't daisy chain them, but you run a single cable to each of these lights then.
So, I mean, this seems like a very clean solution. Ethernet cables providing both power and data through this little power injector box. I mean, I'm used to this in a studio setting for like PTZ cameras and such, but I'm not used to seeing it used this way. That's very cool.
Exactly. So we are the first company using this technology, but it just makes sense to put power and data over a single cable. Like, why use 2 cables? In the lighting world, for example, we didn't have this yet. But power over Ethernet, of course, is widely used, as you mentioned, in all sorts of setups, but not in lighting at the moment.
Now, just to put a fine point on it, a standard Ethernet cable will work in this scenario? Because you mentioned Ethernet Con. Is that a different type of Ethernet cable?
Yeah, there's Ethercon, which is an IP65 rated, very durable port, but you can use the cheapest Ethernet cable if that's what you want. I wouldn't recommend this, but basically any Ethernet will work.
Okay, so don't cheap out on your cables. We always say this all the time. Sebastian agrees with me. Sebastian, anything else we should touch on with the QuikBeam before I let you go?
Well, I just wanted to wrap up the key features again. I mean, there's this super simple rotatable zoom built in here. There's a super fast way to add a barn door to it, even with a little safety cable, what you can plug into the backside. It's a battery-powered mini Fresnel, very useful on location and in installations.
Great. Sebastian, thank you so much for your time. Again, if you watch this video and you feel like we missed any key details, I promise you my colleague Nino covered a few aspects of the QuikBeam that we didn't hear in his video from the BSC Expo. That's it for us here at the Astera booth at NAB 2026. If you want to see more videos just like this, please hit like and subscribe. Sebastian and I would appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.